Good morning, Gris and Grizzlies. Day 3 of our coronavirus shutdown. And got some coffee and got some facts to share with you today. So thank you for tuning in. The first update for the digital online textbook, Internet Explorer, the old-fashioned blue E that no one's really used in about 4 or 5 years. That's what you want to go with. That's the easiest way to get into your online textbook. See yesterday's video for your login information. What I want to do today is talk a little bit about section 1 from the book, and then I sent out 2 Aral C videos for you to watch about the effects of the shrinking and how much it shrank due to over irrigation. So let's get started with section 1. With section 1, we have those 3 main ideas. The key physical features of Central Asia includes rugged mountains. It's landlocked, so it's locked inland. So there are no borders that touch any large bodies of water. Central Asia has a very dry, harsh climate, so it's very difficult to get vegetables to grow. And this is what's led into the irrigating from the 2 major rivers that feed into the Aral Sea. So in order to make the land moist enough to grow the plants, they've been dragging the water from these 2 rivers. The third main idea, big idea, is that the key natural resources include water and the scarcity of the water. It's very hard to find. Oil and gas and minerals. Now, most of the oil we find along the Caspian Sea, and the majority of it's in Kazakhstan. And then the overall big idea for this section is that Central Asia is a dry, rugged, landlocked region. It has oil and other valuable mineral resources. I just don't think it's really like in abundance. There's not a lot of it. So going on, the lowest elevation of land you're going to see mostly around the Caspian Sea. Majority of the lower sea level land is in Kazakhstan. Highest points of land you're going to see it in Hindu Kush. Do you remember that name from last chapter? The map activity, the highest point in Afghanistan is through the Hindu Kush region, and a lot of higher elevation in Tajikistan. So that's where the highest points tend to be. And in the Pamirs, the mountain peaks are like so high that they actually will have glaciers up in that region because the peaks are so high and the temperatures are so cold. That also makes growing and vegetation difficult in that region because it's too extreme of a temperature. I mentioned before, most of the oil you're going to see along the Caspian Sea and mostly in Kazakhstan. There are many types of other minerals we see in Afghanistan, Tajikistan. There are some major manufacturing and trade centers. Alma-Ata, Tashkent are a couple of them. But it's not really a high industrialized area, and you're going to see that in the videos. They didn't get like electricity and telephone lines in some parts of the region on the Aral Sea until the 90s. So that's quite a delay in terms of technology. So I mentioned water is very scarce. Cotton grows well but needs water. So what they started to do is they started to irrigate the Sir Darya and the Amu Darya rivers. Those are the 2 main rivers in the region, and they flow directly into the Aral Sea. So what happened is they started pulling and irrigating so much water from those rivers, nothing was making it to the Aral Sea. So the Aral Sea, literally you're going to see in the videos, went from like the 4th largest inland lake in like the 60s to almost separating into two much smaller lakes because of the water evaporating and not being refilled. There's oil and gas in some parts of Central Asia. Some parts have minerals like gold and silver and zinc and uranium, and large amounts of coal from the region. So basically, Central Asia has a very rugged, dry climate, very limited resources. And then my next video will talk about the cultures we see. It's very unique for a cultural standpoint because the majority of the countries have that main diverse ethnic group of people. And that wasn't necessarily always the case when they were part of Russia. A lot of Russians lived there, and you're going to also see that comment in the Aral Sea video. People would move into the area, you could make a living off the fishing, and when the lake started to disappear, those people could go back to their homelands, to the countries they were originally from, and it kind of left the native people of the region there to deal with like the consequences alone. There's some also interesting information about the toxicity of the Aral Sea and the land. The land became almost like not necessarily radioactive, but there was a lot of testing being done, nuclear testing by the Soviet Union, that impacted some of the water, some of the land. So as the water evaporated, it just stayed on the land. And then the salt from the water, when the water evaporated, it coated the grass, and you're going to see the impact on the animals in the region when they ate that grass that had a ton of salt in it. So as you're reading through your online book, you can click on, like there's a reading summaries, there's an online notebook that you can click on to type in your answers. And when you see things like the section review, if you click on section 1 assessment, if you click on it, it's going to pull up and you can actually type in and save your answers. So when you finish reading section 1, you can go through the questions, you can recall, make those inferences, describe and explain. There's a note-taking page to show you how you could set up and go through the section and jot down some notes in terms of identifying what's the main idea behind the physical features, the main idea behind the climate and vegetation, and then with the natural resources. So go through, work your way through that. Watch the two videos. One's like 6 minutes, the other one's like 17. You can do a 3-2-1 on the videos, something you've learned about the region, and then we'll get into section 2, and then I will also send out the Geography Now of Afghanistan. I don't believe there is a Flag Friday on it. I will double check to see what we have available to send out your way. And that's pretty much it about for today. Encourage your classmates, get the information out there on how to log in to Remind. My Weebly classroom page has been updated with links with how to sign into Remind. A copy, I think there's a link to this channel. Feel free to subscribe. Thank you for tuning in for today's listening to me talk. Miss you guys. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will catch you here tomorrow. Have a good one.